I'm back. Did you miss me? I'm just saying, I got that from somewhere. I don't own that, whatever. But did you miss me? Did you miss me? Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Tyra Monique, and this is Unconcealed TV, where we reveal everything, anything, where things, and we've been talking about perspective all on my social media, my Instagram. We've been talking about there's always another way to do things. There's always another way to look at things. You don't have to look at a situation in the same views points or the same, perspective as somebody else. You can think differently, and it's okay to think differently. I don't know why I need to say that before we get started, but it's okay to think differently. One of the key reasons why there's always another way to do things, it's gonna always be your perspective. It's gonna always be how you look at things. Every person approaches situations differently. Like, that's why when people say, "Oh, that could never be me," "Oh, I can never put up with that." Let's talk about domestic violence, because it's all on TikTok. This two people, in domestic violence relationships, and we see it on the news all the time, or we live in it day to day. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can say, "Oh, that could never be me. I could never put up with that." You don't know what you would do in that situation. You don't know if you never went through it, you never experienced it firsthand, how can you say what you would do in a situation? So that's why I say that we all look at things and we approach things in a different perspective, because of our own experiences, our own skills, and our own mindset. And we have to learn how to respect each other across the board when it comes to our experiences, our skills, and our mindset. It's so quick to call somebody dumb or stupid because they don't think like you, but are they really dumb and stupid because you only think one way and they actually trying to help you see a different perspective, or you're trying to help them see a different perspective? You know what's the middleman in that? Understanding. In order to understand the perspective that you see or the situation that you in, you must have an understanding where you at. And that goes back to our last conversation we was having, how to learn how to love/like where you are, because once you learn where you are and you start liking it, you start loving it, you can then see things from a different perspective so you can become better. Okay, not saying that your life is not great. If you love where you at, by all means, love where you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying where you are is not good enough, no. But you have to make sure that you know that it's good enough. It doesn't matter what I think. It shouldn't matter what I think. If you know you love where you at and you know that you can do better, you can be better in the situation that you in, I'm just telling you there's always another way to do things. I'm just going to tell you there's always another way to do things. For example, okay, my first time ever winning a hair show was back in high school, okay, where Barbara Jordan was the main place where we go and we have our hair shows, and all the other high schools would go in and, they come in together. We have this hair show, and other students would come and they would watch the show. You had your family, your friends there, whatever, rooting for you, things like that. It was an exciting thing to do, okay? That was my skill. I developed my skill while I was in high school, okay? But we went to this hair show, and I believe I did formal. I'm not sure. But I know the theme was one of my, friends at that time or whatever. I dressed up like a Beyonce type of thing, but it was more, "Oh boy, you looking like you like what you see." I had that vision, but I kind of created it to be my own. And we into the concert. It was our turn to go. And she already had the look. She had the walk. She already had the it. She already had the look. I just had to dress it up, right? I remember us having a malfunction or whatever, and with the hair, I was like, "Oh my gosh, your curls is falling." Some things start mishapping right when she's about to get ready to go on stage. And I had to, at that time, figure something out. Either I let her go out like that, or I create something new right now, what I have. I don't know if I forgot my bobby pins, or, the way that I styled her hair. I don't know if it was something I cannot remember. If you out there, let me know what it is. But I could not remember what it was. I don't know if it was the bobby pins or the holding spray. I need to put more holding spray on there. If the curls was falling, I really don't know what it was, but it was something between that. So I had to figure it out. And when she went out there, she did what she needed to do. She did what she needed to do because why? It won a second place. It wasn't first, but it was second place. And it was my first time ever winning something. It was my first time ever doing something it was my first time just being somebody recognizing my work. Out of everybody and it's not like 5 people, no. We had at least 10, 15 people to go in competition. It probably was 25. I don't even know. But all I know is we won second place. And I was happy about that. But if it wasn't for me thinking differently, if it wasn't for me thinking that there's a different way I can do this, I probably would never won. But we would never know that. Okay? But that was just something like an example to give you that in times and when you're in a tight spot, there's always another way. You just have to be quick and you have to think about what's around you and you have to think of the resources that you have in your hand right now. I couldn't go out to the store and go get what I needed. No, I only had probably a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds to figure it out. And sometimes that's what life do to us. It only gives us a couple of minutes, a couple of days, a couple of seconds to figure out a lifetime of what you're going to do. But you know what? That goes back to trusting you. You have to learn how to trust you. So if you can't really think in a different perspective, you can't even have that understanding when somebody else come with their own perspective, then it starts with you. You have to trust yourself enough to know that the decisions, the morals and integrity, the things, the rules that you have created for your life matters, and this is what you stand on, and you have firm boundaries because your life experiences, your skills, and your mindset got you there, and you stand on that. And once you start standing on that and start really believing it, then you can see a different perspective and still hold your own. Okay, but back to the hair show. You know what I'm saying? We got that was a little side note, notes bar. But, creativity, I love hair shows. I love the vibe. I love going to the hair shows. I love seeing other people come up with different ideas. I love seeing the creativity on Instagram, YouTube. I mean, I love seeing it all. And it was like three categories. Like you had formal, you had something was in the middle, and then you had fantasy. I know I ain't do fantasy, and I know I didn't do formal. It was whatever was in the middle. That's what I won. No, ask me where that trophy at. I was with a jealous man. We're going to talk about that in a future episode. But anyways. But creativity isn't just for artists and professionals and things like that. Everyday life offers us opportunities to think outside the box. Every day you wake up, it gives you an opportunity to think differently. Maybe you're stuck at a daily routine and you're like, I got to get up and go to work. I got to take care of these kids. I got this spouse. Oh, I got to go to this business. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. You're just always on the go. You always on a routine, and it's not really fulfilling you. It's more like it's not, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta get it done. I'm just get it. No, I gotta do it. Have this disgusting look on your face. If that's you, change it up. Try something different, Shift your mindset. When I say shift your mindset, find life more exciting. Yeah, you got kids, or yeah, your apartment not the way that it you want it to be, but you have a home to go to. It could be smaller than that, but no matter what, I don't care if I'm in a box. I'm gonna make that my home. If I have something around me, I'm gonna make it my home. And I want to talk about that. If you are living somewhere and you don't have peace in your house, you need to figure out why you don't have peace in your house. And then you need to fix it. And the only way you can fix it, if you trust who you are and you trust your decisions and you stand on it. And anybody that's surrounding you and anybody that's in your environment do not understand that, they don't have to respect it. They don't have to go and adapt it into their life. But if they understand it, there will be no going back and forth about your peace, your space. I don't know why I need to say that, but there you go. Okay? Another sidebar. Bars. Okay? And let me tell you something. I know a lot of people struggle. A lot of people struggle from just to see things differently because you only thought one way. You only knew one way. And it scares you. And it's nothing but fear. Fear of change. It's natural to stick to what feels familiar, but growth often comes from stepping outside your comfort zone. How can you grow when you always comfortable? Imagine those kids going to school with the bonnet on and the pajamas and the slippers. Like, they just had to roll up out of bed. Didn't he put a little deodorant, sprayed a little spray, but at the end of the day, they ain't come to slay. They ain't coming to get it. They just rolled up out the bed. No effort, no nothing. What about life was like that? You know what I'm saying? We get comfortable. And when we get comfortable, we're scared of change. Now, most of the schools have to do uniform. You have to come in uniform. Now the kids mad because now they got to go to school in uniform. You know why you got to go to school in uniform? Because you roll up out of bed with your bonnet and your night clothes on with your slippers. You didn't have the capacity, I guess, the mindset to think differently and say, let me at least put on some pants and a shirt and some tennis shoes and let me take my butt to school. You know what I'm saying? Put a little effort. Even failure, though, frustrating, can be a step towards success. Every mistake offers a chance to learn and refine strategies, making future attempts even stronger. Sometimes society imposes limits to us. Tell us we can't do this, we can't do that. You got to have a certain education. You got to build your career this way. And in order to achieve happiness, you got to do this, that, and the third. But reality proves otherwise. People forge their own paths, pursue unconventional careers, develop new methods, and refine success. Ultimately, there's always another way to do things. It's just take creativity, adaptability, and willingness. You have to be willing to do it. And you have to learn how to adapt in your situation. Then you gotta be creative. You could learn how to adapt, and then creativity come later. And then the willingness to be creative will help you get to where you need to be and see things a different way, a different perspective. If you ever feeling stuck, frustrated, limited, remind yourself there's always another way to move forward. Always another way to move forward. What matters is your openness to find it. You have to be willing to be open. You got to be willing to have a different, to learn, to understand something. The basics to life is to understand. You don't have to like it. You don't have to adapt it if you don't want to. That's the amazing thing of free will. And we all have free will to do what we need to do. But sometimes that free will get us in circumstances and situations that we cannot get ourselves out of. And sometimes we just have to sit it out. Sit it out. Oh, I remember my period that I had to sit it out. And I was in the most unforgiving relationship ever. But I knew I had to sit it out, because if I didn't sit it out, I would never learn. And I used to be upset about it, but now I'm grateful. I'm happy that I had to sit that out. And I realized the maturity that I needed to be on to sit that out until I started from a different perspective. That's when I started healing, really healing from that relationship. When I started looking at things in a different perspective, as such as maybe he did me a favor. Maybe he did me a favor by cheating on me. Maybe he did me a favor by doing the things that he did to me, because then I would never saw my accountability. I would never saw where I made mistakes in other relationships and other connections and other friendships. I saw me. And until you see you and somebody else, man, what they call it, shadow work? What's a different perspective? What's a different way of saying shadow work? I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? But this has been an amazing conversation. This has been a great revealing of something. You know, I'm still trying to get that catchphrase together. But this has been amazing. I am your host, Ty Monique, and this is Unconcealed TV. Thank you for listening, and thank you for tuning in. And wherever you are listening from, thank you. Because you could have been anywhere, or you could have been listening to anybody else, but you chose to hear my voice. You chose to continue to see things in a different perspective. I gotta go now. Bye.